Oh yeah, it's a new league. Greetings fellow goo enthusiasts, Play-Doh monster connoisseurs, shady organ traffickers. On today's content we're gonna talk about my initial impressions on Metamorph League and dip a little bit into Conquerors of the Atlas. It's that time of the year where Path of Exile's freshiest content is rather meaty and there is a lot of new stuff to mess around with. So far my experience has been pretty good and I wanted to share my thoughts in regards to it. Before we begin this video, remember to hit the subscribe button. The league is just starting and there's a lot of content I plan to talk about in the near future. So let us start by talking about the mighty Morphin League. I must be sincere with you, when they announced this league in ExileCon I wasn't the biggest fan of it. Personally, I thought the idea was too complex for its own good, and that it was gonna be another synthesis-sized mess alongside the expansion. After playing with the mechanic for a bit, I will admit that I overreacted. I'm actually enjoying it a lot. It gets hectic and scary if you're not careful, and while I haven't gotten the big box payout, I did get a piece of gear that I was debating on using for the league starter. I think the concept is very enjoyable because it is asking you to full clear maps in order to maximize your payout chances. Though I will admit that talking about organs that you must pillage is kinda creepy, especially when taken out of context. Coming back to the league's concept, I kinda get beastery vibes from it, collecting stuff to mix together and spawn in order to kill it so that you get rewards. There's even a mini altar. It's not a literal one-to-one copy, but I hope you see the same similarities as I do. So the idea behind the league is full clearing a map. Pillage all the organs, Frankenstein the goo and kill the amalgamation. If done correctly, you get the big payouts. The one thing I feel bamboozled about is the cocaine catalyst currency thingies. I have only collected two. One of them is elemental damage and the other one is for attributes. Personally, I thought that the dust was gonna be common. Granted, I've only seen it spawn in some maps, but that's what I'm perplexed because I expected to be abundant. I was gonna mention that manually picking up every brain, eye, lung, heart and liver is definitely enabling the carpal tunnel on my wrist, but GGG has said on Twitter that they are gonna be giving us the ability to automatically suck the organs, which is great. Me and my right wrist thank GGG for the upcoming change. Good vibes aside, not everything is perfect. I've had some crashes when it first launched, but they seem to have stopped. As for the ugly stuff, anyone fashion some unnamed monster components? How about getting stuck inside the Metamorph tooth thing inside the laboratory? The only way to free yourself is by logging out and back in. Just be warned that your loot disappears, so don't stay in the middle when you're doing your goo concoctions or else you're gonna have to suffer the same fate as I. Although the endgame in Metamorph seems a bit simple so far, that is not a bad thing considering the fact that there is more to this update than just the league. And this is the time where we shift from mighty morphing black goo to Conquerors of the Atlas. The funny thing is that I expected Metamorph to be the overly complex stuff and Conquerors was gonna be the easy no brain required stuff to play, and that is not the case. We got a new freeloader on the hideout and Sana called us stupid or idiot. I don't remember 100%, but she sure as hell insulted our intelligence. It was pretty funny, I won't lie. Conquerors isn't super mega complex, but it is a bit entangled. We now start at the middle of the Atlas. The Atlas is divided in regions / districts / areas. There's fewer maps in the Atlas when you first start and the instructions to chase the Conquerors are kinda unclear. I got a better idea of the expansion's mechanics from a snarky reply on Reddit that I did from reading guides. From my understanding, you are mapping until one of them decides to taunt you. Then you run maps in the district where the Exile decided to influence. After a couple maps, the new guy, Lieutenant General Vanguard Guy Scouting Expert Esquire Kirak, will mark where the guy spawned in and Sana will give you a free map to go vibe check the fucker. I was expecting a relatively tough first fight just to get us acquainted to the new bosses, but yeah, I didn't even record the fight. I got some influence gear, so that counts, right? The fight itself wasn't that difficult and in a sense it kinda feels like they were just showcasing the stuff you're gonna be playing with later down the line. So anyways, coming back to the Conquerors of the Atlas expansion thing, seems like a cool twist on what used to be the norm for a couple years now. Of course, it's day 5 or something like that of the expansion and not everything about the mechanics is known, and there's plenty of stuff to experience for the first time. So far my confidence is high and I'm very much enjoying it. We will be talking a lot more about the expansion on the build guides and other videos, as this was just the initial impressions, which again have been pretty positive so far. It also helps that the league starter has been an absolute blast to play. Talking about the League starter, expect a full-fledged video on my Trickster Caustic Arrow character, because there were some changes to the things I talked about on last week's video, and at the same time he seems pretty good for a starter, and that deserves a whole video on its own. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the content. Anyways, thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next time when we talk about a Caustic White male's adventures in Wonderland. Peace out.